Hi, everyone. I want to talk to you today about the importance of listening. I don't think in very many MFA programs they talk about listening as part of the process of writing, but I have come to realize that listening is an absolutely integral part of the process, and it can turn a so-so manuscript into something that really flies. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about several things, but the first thing I want to talk about is listening to your characters. Even if you're writing nonfiction, you're writing memoir, your character, you, becomes a character in the essay or memoir that you're writing. So you have to listen to that person you're writing about, um, where they're at in the time period that you've placed them. So you're not necessarily writing about, if I'm writing a memoir and I'm writing about something that happened to me 20 years ago, I have to really delve into who I was 20 years ago and understand that person. Very different person than I am today. And so I need to really listen and ask that person questions. Same thing with fiction. I think that sometimes what we call writer's block is simply writers not listening. We need to find a way to sit down and have conversations with our characters. It can take different forms. Maybe you decide that you're going to be a literary shrink and you're going to put your characters on the couch and you're going to figure out what's going on in their heads. Or you might adopt the persona of being a literary detective and you're going to figure out what their motivations are. You're going to figure out who done it, whatever it is. Sometimes we hit a roadblock with our plot. We don't know what happens next. And I honestly believe it's because we're not listening to our characters. They, I think, know everything. And sometimes they're withholding, but sometimes we simply haven't asked them. And just like with anything creatively, I think the more you ask, the more you break past the banal and the expected into the counterintuitive and into the unexpected. So if you ask your character XYZ and they give you an easy answer, that's usually going to be the first thing off the top of their heads or your head. And don't accept it, because if you keep asking, what it means is you're diving deeper and deeper and deeper into their reality, into the heart of things. And eventually, if you keep asking and you keep them talking, eventually they're going to start telling you things that are really interesting, things you don't expect. And that's where the magic of writing lies, is in the unexpected, in what you did not think that character was going to tell you, or that you did not think that character was going to do, or you didn't think that that character would ever think that way. Really break down the walls of the banal, of what's to be expected, and push them to that deeper place. Now, sometimes you can do that with the help of, and I really, really urge everyone to get a listening buddy, which is a conversation buddy. You can even call them a creativity buddy. I don't like accountability buddy because I think that accountability sort of sounds like you're cracking the whip, and that's not a positive place to be. So think of it as creativity buddy. Now, some of you are lucky enough to be in really great workshops where you have a small group of creativity buddies. Um, I'm lucky enough that I have a really wonderful agent named Darlene Chan, who, boy, is she a great editor, and she asks the perfect questions. I'm also lucky that my husband, who is not a writer, um, man, we have great conversations about XYZ characters. You know, what so and so is doing, what they could do, why did they do X or Y? And it's really super helpful. And he'll come up with ideas that I did not think of. And it doesn't mean that I take everything these folks are saying, but I take it in. I listen, and there's a give and take. And then what ends up happening is magic on the page. And that's something to really pay attention to whenever you're in a situation where you're asking to talk about your own work. And that is what you're getting back very often is not nail on head, isn't the answer, the golden ticket that's going to solve all the problems in your manuscript. What you want is for whatever happens in that conversation to get you thinking in new ways, to open up the windows in your brain. Maybe they've been closed a long time. You need those windows to be opened up, and those conversations can do that for you. And so, a creativity buddy might say, I think that your character needs to do whatever it is, go to the store. And you are like, I don't think that character is going to go to the store. But what if that character went into the bedroom and found their son's diary? And it's not the son's diary, it's someone else's diary who actually was murdered. Oh, well, now everything gets complicated, right? And the person who said, I think they need to go to the store, prompted you, inspired you to think about, oh, where can that character go? There's a totally different place than what the person said. But if the person hadn't said that to you, you wouldn't have gotten to, oh, it's the diary of the person who got murdered. So it's all just you're opening up one window after another, and you never know what the view's going to be. And that is one of the things that makes all of this so exciting. But you really do want one person or a small group of people who are fully engaged in that process, and it's fun, and it's creative, and it's going to help you write better stories. You know, there was this is very recent. I had in my novel that's in progress. There's a reveal towards the end, and the reveal was perfect. I mean, it said exactly what the character needed to find out. And my agent, dear Darlene, was like, she kept pushing me about it, and I didn't know, I couldn't understand. I was so thick skulled at that moment that I couldn't figure out what it was she was actually asking me. So we had to kind of give and take through email, and I kept asking, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just not really getting it. And she rephrased it. And at some point I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if what she got was what she was expecting, but what she got, she really liked. And I loved it. It really did. It was sort of just the cherry on top of that cupcake. It really needed it. It needed just a little bit amplification. And I would not have gotten to that moment if she hadn't been in conversation with me and really pushed me. So I am forever grateful to you, Darlene, for doing that. So yeah, that's my little talk for today. I want you to not just listen to your characters and listen to your creativity buddies, but to be in conversation with them. Such a gift we have when people are willing to engage in our work and willing to talk to us about our work. I think a lot of times workshops are set up so that we get talked at, and that's really not very helpful. We get talked at a lot in all of our lives. The news talks at us, friends talk at us on social media, all that stuff. And really, we just need to sit down, have a cup of coffee, and really be in conversation. And then within that conversation to really listen. It's an amazing gift. So just some housekeeping matters I want to catch you up on. I have a hard time with paywalls, and they piss me off, frankly, especially when they're on social media and they post something and then you click on it and it's behind a paywall. It's like, well, why did you put that on there unless you're just trying to get the money in my pocket? And that's just kind of gross to me. So I don't like paywalls, and I don't like double standards. So I'm no longer going to have subscribers get one bit of whatever I do on Substack, and non-subscribers get something else. It's just so elitist that it just goes against everything that I'm about. So I still, please subscribe. And I'll tell you why I hope that you subscribe. One, I'm a working writer. I don't make a lot of money, so any little bit that you can do helps me keep this roof over my head. But more than that, I think way more importantly than that, is that I always try to offer scholarships to any kind of event that I do, whether it's virtual, whether it's a conference and retreat, whatever it may be. Sometimes I will deeply discount one-on-one sessions with people and stuff, but I can only do so much of that. But the subscription money really helps me. So you're not just helping me when you subscribe, you're helping other writers, other artists. So that's why I ask that you subscribe. But if you don't and you can't, that's cool. Everyone's going to get the same material. So I hope that works out well. And I don't like asking for money, and so I'm not going to do it often, but I wanted to mention it here because I am, this is a different tact for me where, yes, there are subscribers and there are people who don't subscribe, but you're all going to get the same content. Um, I'm starting a new thing called postcards. And so you'll get through my Substack about once a week. I don't want to say every week because things happen and sometimes I just can't keep up or I'm at a conference or whatever, but I'm going to try to, bankroll some, so I've got, some in the bank. And so that even when I'm traveling, I can still get that to you. So again, I'm going to try to do once a week. You're going to get a postcard in the Substack environment, and it's going to have some sort of writing tip, some sort of insight. Maybe it's going to be a question. I don't know. But so expect that to land in your inbox once a week. I want to quickly mention that another new thing I'm doing is called, calling it Bring a Buddy. They're virtual 2-day retreats, and they're only open to 2 people. I had a retreat a couple of months ago that I only had 2 people at. A bunch of people canceled, so we had 2 people, and I'm like, how's this going to work? It was fantastic. We had a blast. The 2 writers learned so much. It was really worthwhile, and I thought, all right, that's what I'm going to keep doing. So the February one's full. You can go on the website and get all the information for it. If you want me to try to partner you with a buddy, I will. But if you know somebody that you'd like to work with, go ahead and look at that website, inkblossomwriters.com, and sign on up. And the other scheduling thing I want to mention is that at the end of March at Flagler Beach, Florida, it's a wonderful little seaside town. I'm hosting a seaside retreat and conference. The clock is ticking on that one because the application deadline is January 31st. So if you're interested, sign on up. Again, it's almost full, so I only have a few spaces left. All right. I will send you another video missive probably before the end of the year, but I won't send you one before the holiday, which is really pretty much upon us now. So I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. We are living in some very turbulent, difficult times, and I think that one of the ways that we're going to find our way out of this is through love. Love one another. Tell the person next to you you love them. Be sure you hug your kids and don't go to sleep angry at your spouse. Those things matter, and I deeply, deeply believe in the power of the written word. You don't have to be writing political stuff. In fact, it's probably best if you don't because you're sort of inundated with it. But the creativity, the act of out of thin air creating stories about the human condition and who we are as humans who do all these weird, wondrous, sometimes terrible things. It teaches us who we are, who we want to be. If I didn't have books when I was a little girl, I would not have had positive role models. Well, my teachers were great role models. My teachers and the characters in books. So maybe our our slogan for the new year should be save a life, write a book, because you don't know whose life you're saving when they open up the pages of that book. I know many, many writers saved my life when I was a little girl. So keep writing. Whatever else, keep writing, keep loving, find joy. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.